What's up, D's Peeps? This is your girl D coming at you with this sweet, piping hot tea. So sit on down and enjoy the show because Just D Show is raw and uncensored.
This leveled up, I thank God. Straight from the mud, now it's time to get the pie. Sweat, hit some blood, you can see it in my eye.
What's up, D's Peeps? This is your girl D coming at you with this sweet, piping hot tea. So sit on down and enjoy the show because Just D Show is raw and uncensored.
This leveled up, I thank God. Straight from the mud, now it's time to get the pie. Sweat, hit some blood, you can see it in my eye.
All right, what's up, y'all? Jumped on here real quick. I had to take a break from driving because one, I'm tired, two, I need to charge my phone. So I'm taking a quick break and wanted to go ahead and discuss what I was talking about earlier. Good to see you. Thank you, Cody family, for tuning in. Can you let me know how the volume is as far as the background music compared to my speech audio? Let me know if I need to turn it down or if the volume is okay before I go forward. Because on my end it sounds okay, but I want to make sure on y'all's end it sounds okay. So like I said, I'm just taking a quick break and decided to, actually sit down and take a break as opposed to in the car. So like I was telling you guys earlier, and y'all bear with me, I'm extremely exhausted because I've been going hard with the driving. It's been a blessing, but quite honestly, it's kind of been slow. So that's also why I took a break, because I'm like, if it's going to be slow, I may as well, come inside, charge my phone, and actually sit on down. I'm on my yoga ball, so that's why y'all see me rocking and rolling. But first of all, thank you to everybody that's tuning in. For any new viewers, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Make sure everybody who is joining the live to hit the like, because obviously if you're here watching, you like this channel. And if you're new to the channel, again, don't forget to subscribe. You guys make sure to follow me on Rumble, because I'm not actually on my phone. I didn't get a chance to add the comments that I normally do add, because I'm still trying to get this all set up. But regardless, follow me on Rumble.com. That way this week when we do the watch parties, you guys can all be there. Now, back to what I was saying earlier, I'm extremely grateful for this retrograde season because of what it has been teaching me and the clarity that I've been receiving, as well as the release that I have been doing, just across the board. because right now I'm in a season of peace and preparation, meaning preparing for the things that I have called in actually coming in, and preparing for this new beginning. And the new beginning does involve more than, any sort of personal relationship, but the new beginning is a new beginning in healing and a new beginning in my goals and dreams coming to fruition and accomplishing them. So that's why I'm even sharing this, because like I said earlier on the other live, I could feel 5 different people who are either going through or have been through what I'm getting ready to speak on, and or could currently be going through right now. So, with retrogrades, there's always the past coming back, whether it's romantically, platonically, even familial. People tend to spin the block during Mercury retrograde, which we are in. And actually, give me 1 second. So I want to see how long, since I got all my equipment, now I can actually share screen. Give me 1 day, give me 1 second. I was reading the information. And the irony is that Mercury retrograde started on my birthday. That's also what makes this, just like I said, the irony. Because, let's see, there we go. So yeah, Mercury retrograde started on November 9th. I'm trying to get the dates. Wow, Jupiter is going retrograde in Cancer. Oh, it already has. During the 11/11 portal. Okay. I need that. There we go. The dates. Okay. So Mercury went retrograde in the sign of Sag on my birthday on November 9th, and then on the 18th. It goes back in my sign, Scorpio. Wow. So it ends on the 19th. Okay. So in 3 days. So on the 18th, Mercury goes retrograde in my sign, Scorpio. And then it ends on the 19th. And says on December 19th, the post-retrograde period comes to a halt, meaning the retrograde is done retracting. So yeah, now depends on your zodiac sign how it affects you. I know under Scorpio it says find an ally or an advocate who can help you move forward in a difficult situation. It's okay to rely on others for help. I love that. The thing that I love about that is that's also what I'm learning, is to accept help, and that it's okay to do so. But yes, like I was telling you guys, if it feels like relationships are coming to an end and or being stirred up, like I said, I love this when it says, as a collective, this retrograde will stir up the stories we tell ourselves and the truths we may be avoiding. Prepare for mix-ups in communication, secrets coming to light. That's at the heart of what I'm getting ready to talk about. And a few reality checks about what we truly believe. Yes. So the reality is, let me get back to the main screen. The reality is secrets being revealed. So like the first secrets that I realized were so-called friends, the truth coming out. People who I have established friendships with, and people who I was developing new friendships with, like new people I've been meeting. And it's like, I understand why the Most High brought certain people into my life. It wasn't just for me to learn a lesson, but also for me to aid in other people's healing, because that is what I do as a spiritualist. And, okay, I was just trying to shuffle to pull out a card for myself, and a whole bunch of them popped out. But, it's, drop one. It's like, sometimes we have to have that reality check. We have to have, how do I say? certain things have to fall apart so certain things can fall into place. And for me, you know, me going through life solo has been so I can heal. And it's not because I don't desire the connections, you know, socially with people, platonically and or business and or romantic. It's because I know that most people are not working on their healing. And I just don't have the time to entertain anyone who is not. So, like I told you guys in the last live, typically my private life I keep private because I am Scorpio. We're very private individuals. But I decided to share this. One, because it's really been on my heart, and two, because I know other people are dealing with this as well. So with a retrograde, if you found yourself, you know, being contacted by someone from your past, like what happened in my situation, you know, this year has been tough financially because of the fact that I need to have colorectal surgery. And that has truly impacted, you know, my daily life and my ability to do things the way that I used to be able to do them. And there are some people who, you know, do know the full extent of how the medical has been impacting my life financially. So I've had really great seasons where things have flowed and been great, and then I've had seasons where things have been difficult. And my aunt passing last month was, and still is, you know, not easy to deal with. And I love her dearly. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm still in shock that she's gone. And so that alone, on top of everything else, was really, really difficult. And so in one of the situations where I was waiting for money to hit my account, like I told you guys before, I've been in circumstances where I've had to wait in lobbies, even wait outside. And I remember this particular day. It was like a couple days after my aunt's funeral where that happened. That actually did happen. And I reached out to, you know, the few people that I know to see if they could help. And when it came to, you know, my ex sending the message that he had sent, it was just like, okay, cool, you know, we can talk or whatever. But pretty much just like that, you know, we can just have a conversation, not like, oh, we're getting back together or whatever. And long story short, and tell him about my, you know, my aunt passing. We get to talking, reminiscing, and he ended up paying to book a session with me. And from then on, it was like we reconnected, but in my mind, it was just completely platonic. Like, okay, you know, I can aid in your healing, and all of that. And then the reminiscing, the nostalgia, I saw the full play in this. Bringing up nostalgic memories of our past to kind of get, you know, get me to open up, get me to be vulnerable again. And I already was vulnerable because I'm grieving the loss of my aunt. And he showed a lot of support with that emotionally. And then he started to show support financially because of my circumstances at the time and also my health. So I was like, hey, you know, that's what's up. Thank you. You know, showing gratitude, but still on a platonic level. And then one day we were just talking, you know, chopping it up, really just catching up, you know, him telling me about what had been going on in his life and me telling him, like I said, like I told you on the last live, what I've been going through, whether good or bad. And he was telling me, you know, how proud he was of me with my YouTube channel and, you know, good to see your growth and good to see you helping people heal and you fulfilling your purpose. And that was the thing with us when we were together, is we had a very deep spiritual connection in terms of us both acknowledging God and knowing that God is at the core of everything. And so when he started to become financially supportive in a very unexpected way, you know, I was like, hey, are you expecting anything from this? You know, and it was like, no, I'm invested in your well being. You know, I just want to make sure you're okay. I know you're struggling due to your health, and I'm here for you. So, you know, that felt good, especially after the people who did disappoint, the ones who could have helped and chose not to, or the ones who, like I told y'all, judge me because of certain things I'm just not willing to do. And so, you know, in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is cool. You know, this is cool. It's positive. It's not negative. There's no drama. And then one day he just said, do you think there's could be ever be a situation where I could be your husband? I immediately said no. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, most women going through what I've been going through would have lied. They would have said, yeah, you know, just so they could continue to financially benefit. And I'm not like that. April, good to see you, my love. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Cody. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just now looking over, seeing y'all's comments. Love you back, family. I know it. That's why you my good brother. So, you know, it was just like, it kind of threw me like, what do you mean? Just so casually asked me, could I see you ever being my husband? I was honest. I said no. You know, I'm happily single, very much so, and made that clear. And there is someone that I'm interested in, but I'm still happily single. And even with that person, you know, as I was telling him, well, that person hasn't, you know, come towards me. That particular man hasn't come towards me, but this is somebody I've spent time with who has always shown me nothing but respect. But we were never like together. It's just, hey, we hung out, you know, it is what it is. And it got to a point where I had a dream that my ex had come to see me, and when he went to hug me, I could, because I'm an empath, clairvoyant, psychic, I could feel his love. And then it was like, it felt good in the dream. So I remember telling him about it, and I said, maybe that's a sign that I should give you another chance to show me, you know, if you can be that. I mean, you're asking me about marriage, but when we were together before, he cheated repeatedly. Even after I lost the baby, he kept cheating. And that was why I broke up with him. You know, broke up, got back together, broke up, got back together. So it's like, nah, I don't want to go down that road again. You know, I've done a lot of work to heal, still am. And I know my worth now. You know, the reason that happened with the breaking up and getting back together is because I didn't know my worth back then. So I would, you know, do what I saw my mother do. My former stepdad cheated. She would always take him back thinking he was going to change, and he didn't. So, you know, again, what you don't heal in your childhood, you repeat in your adult relationships. So, you know, I've done therapy, life coaching, all of that. It's like, no, I'm not, you know, going back to a toxic connection. And so I remember distinctly him telling me, well, let me show you the healed version of me. You know, I've done, and I remember so clear him asking me about why I chose to be celibate. And I told him the truth. I said, honestly, because of you. Like, when I ended things, you know, 5 years ago, and then we reconnected a year and a half later, you know, it was just like the same cycle where you say you love me, but you're still holding on to the female you cheated on me with. You're still emotionally tied to her. Then, you know, you're dealing with other people while you're out on the road. Ain't nobody got time for that. So we had this conversation. I said, so, you know, one, there is somebody else I'm interested in that, yeah, I could see myself having feelings for. And if that person were to come towards me, I know I would be with him. Very honest. And so, you know, he thanked me for that. He said, well, thank you for being honest. And I was like, always, you know, I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to use or manipulate you because of what I've been going through. And again, most women would have. They would have lied and said, oh, yeah, I'll marry you, and because they know saying that will get the person to keep spending money, and that ain't even what I'm about. So it's like everything that he did, to this day I appreciate it. To this day, it was a blessing. It was an unexpected blessing. It was literally a manifestation and a prayer answered on the financial part and on the emotional support, because that's what I prayed for. For God to send me genuine people that will show me love for real and not just you pretending so you can get something from me. So initially I was hesitant, and I remember talking with a friend of mine about it, and then talking with my second mom, my best friend that passed away, her mom. And she said, well, maybe he's changed. He's doing all this for you. He's being consistent, calling every day, texting, talking all for hours, reconnecting. And my other friend was like, hey, give him a chance to see. And so I told him that. I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm still single, but if you want to come see me, or you want to put in effort to show me that you change, I'm open to seeing where things go. That way I will know whether or not we're really meant to be back together. Because if you are asking me right now, it's a no, given the past and what I went through with you. So he did. He put in a lot of effort and was very consistent with communication, but very inconsistent with the emotional aspect, meaning the emotions were kind of all over the place. And so, we've known each other, wow, almost for almost 9 years. Good Lord. Yeah, it's been almost 9 years. And like I said, this is the father of my last baby I lost. And my fifth baby, the baby I didn't know I was carrying until I had the miscarriage. And that happened 8 months after my dad died. So we've always had a very deep bond because of that, because of the loss. And when we were together, I was very close with his mom. And the irony is, I said, you came in my energy really strong like a month ago, and I didn't know why, and I thought maybe something happened to your mom. So when you hit me up, it was kind of like, okay, cool. At least I can check and make sure his mom is good. Because one thing about me, even if I break up with you and we're not together, if you or like your relative really was there for me, I'm still gonna care. It's not like, oh, I hate you, or anything like that. And that's what I was telling him. I said, when we first reconnected, I said, I never hated you. I just couldn't deal with the unhealed parts of you and the cheating and the lying. And then, he's a truck driver, so you're gone all the time. And I'm being faithful and loyal to you, and you're out doing you. I said, so if you want me to trust you, you're going to have to prove it. And trust doesn't come from you financially providing support. Trust comes from us spending time together. Trust comes from me being around you to see if, those connections are still there or not. So he asked me, he said, would you allow me to come back into your life? Will you allow me to come see you? I want to take you out for your birthday. Spend the weekend. I can get a load coming there and we can spend the weekend. So I was like, yeah. And the more we would talk, especially him bringing up the nostalgic memories, reminiscing on when we were together, when we were at his grandma's house, and the way I cleaned up the house because his cousin basically had it looking like a trap house, literally. I remember meeting his mom, his aunts. Like, this is somebody we were supposed to be getting married. That's why I left Houston in 2018. Because we were, supposed to be together. So it's just like, I'm telling him like, hey, I'm not holding it against you, but the things that we went through, like, I'm not going to go through again, basically. So, I slowly started reopening my heart to him because, he was constantly telling me how much you still loved me. I'm in love with you. I know you're my wife. The one he cheated on me with that he got back with did him exactly the way I told him she was going to, because I had a premonition about it. And so I wasn't surprised that didn't work out. Not at all. But one thing about a Scorpio, we are natural born. We are natural born detectives. That's why y'all see me investigating shit. I'm gonna get down to the bottom of the truth. And so it's like he's, helping me with my living expenses. He's helping me with other bills. He's calling all the time, every morning, texting, good morning, beautiful. I love you. I want to make you my wife. I know you're my wife. That's why I couldn't marry, this other person. And the first thing I said was, when did y'all break up and how long has it been since you've been single? Because before I even entertain this, I need to know that. First story was a year and a half ago. Second story was, first it was, I haven't seen or talked to this person, or that's what he's telling me, haven't seen or talked to her since May of last year. Then he changed his story later to December. Then he changed his story to 6 months ago. She asked me out on a date. Then I was like, wait a minute, hold up. Because when we first was back talking, you said you hadn't seen or talked to this woman for a year and a half, which is the only reason I even entertained possibly giving you another chance, because I felt like that's enough time for you to be, by yourself. And so it's like, okay, I'm starting to open my heart up to you again, but I'm still hesitant, So I said, let's do this. You come for my birthday weekend. Let's see how things go. But I'm celibate. So are you going to be able to spend the weekend with me and sleep in the bed next to me and not try me and not try to get me to break my celibacy? Now, keep in mind, this is the father of my child. We know each other's bodies very well. Okay? And I have not been having sex for a whole year and a half, actually a little longer than that. So actually, yeah, because come March, it'll be 2 years. And there's only one other man that I spent the night with and did not have sex with him. And he did not. And as much as I know physically he wanted me, because I could physically feel how much he wanted me. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm raw and uncensored. His dick was hard. But yet and still, he laid next to me and just held me. He gave me true intimacy. He did not try to seduce me. He didn't try to entice me. The other person, which was over a year ago. So it's like, I'm comparing that. Like, okay, I remember when I kicked it with this one particular person and we spent the night. He respected the fact that I was celibate, which is why I care for him the way that I do, because he didn't try to pressure me, And I even told him that. I said, so if you try me, like, I'm going to take that into consideration, because I don't want you bringing up marriage because you think that's going to get me to break my celibacy, because it's not. When I tell you he came and we had a wonderful weekend, but I got so sick from the food at the restaurant that was in the hotel. I was sick on my birthday, like the whole day. I was just in and out the bathroom. It was horrible. And I clearly had a foodborne illness. So even while, I'm going through that, expressing, hey, are you okay? What's going on? I started passing clots, sent them the pictures, like, if this continues, hopefully I don't have to go to the hospital. But it was horrible, because it's like, it's my actual birthday and I'm sick as shit. And even with that, I remember when I felt better, finally, when it stopped, I'm the kind of woman that if you do for me, I'm going to do for you in return. So I gave him a massage and I did Reiki on him. I spoke healing to his heart chakra and over his crown. And he was like, your touch just feels so good. I've missed it so much. I miss us. I miss us being like this. And then it went into the seduction. It went from intimacy to lust. And for me to have to tell a person, hey, this is turning me on too much and I don't want to break my celibacy, so we need to stop. And he did stop, but then like a couple hours later you try me again. So it's like, okay, I had to look at that. Like, yo, you said you wasn't gonna try to get me to break my celibacy, but the whole time we spent the weekend together, you did. And I get it. I'm an attractive female, you know, especially I'm curvy, and I sweat in my sleep, so I can't sleep in clothes because I sweat really bad from Graves' disease. I get it. That can be tempting, but you should have a level of self-control, especially if you're trying to convince me that, you know, you do respect that I'm celibate and you want to be my husband. And so we continued the weekend. It was great. It was wonderful. Beautiful hotel, beautiful view. Talked about a lot of stuff. You know, he's talking to me about the future. And it just got to a point where I was like, I feel like you're pressuring me to agree to marriage. I feel like you're pressuring me to commit to you when I've already told you I'm not ready for that because I don't trust you. I'm ready for marriage. I'm already a wife and a mother, but not with you because I don't trust you. You have to earn my trust, and it's going to take longer than a month for you to earn my trust back. It's going to take more than you paying for things because, one, I didn't ask you to pay for anything. You offered, but I didn't ask you to, you know, because no matter what, I'm self-sufficient. Even if I have to temporarily go through a struggle or, you know, be like, hey, okay, accept help here and there. At the end of the day, I've never been the type of female that has ever wanted to depend on anybody but myself because that's how I was raised. And so I looked at all that. I said, you know, I was honest. I did not lie. I did not manipulate. I didn't take advantage. I didn't use him. I was very honest that I was not ready for marriage, not with you, until you prove to me you can trust me. Prove to me that I can trust you. Then it was, well, I want you to come on the road with me, you know, so you can see what I do, be around me, and know that you can trust me. Well, I can't be on the road in a semi-truck when I have to go to the bathroom and have an episode. I'm in there for, you know, a long time, like sometimes 2-3 hours, and that's not an exaggeration. In fact, on my birthday, I was in the bathroom for about 8 hours total, literally. Because every time I thought it was done, I would go lay down, I'd have to run right back to the bathroom. That's how I knew it was a foodborne illness. So I was like, yeah, that's physically not going to be possible until I get my surgery done. And I am scheduled to see the colorectal surgeon for the consultation, the initial consultation, on January 15th. So it's going to be a minute, you know, before I can travel. And he got upset about that because he's like, well, then that means, you know, you're going to still be in Houston, and how do I know you're not going to be spending time with other people? Well, even if I do, I'm single. And two, the concern should be for my health more than you wanting me to come on the road when you're aware that I'm pursuing goals locally here in Houston. So that was the first red flag when he got upset about that. And I calmly helped him through it because he does have PTSD too, because he's a veteran. So he tends to flip out a lot. And that was also why we didn't work, because I'm healing that PTSD trauma. I'm healing all of that, but I don't want to take on, you know, somebody else who just lashes out all the time. And so the first time it happened, I calmly, you know, helped him do breathing exercises. I gave him high frequency music, mantras. I prayed for him. You know, that's me. I pour into people. When I see that you need healing, I will help you and I will pour into you. And he thanked me. He was like, thank you for not getting upset. Thank you for helping me through that. I sent him all these links to even playlists that I have on my channel. And it was just like, okay, you know, that was one time, cool. But then it kept happening, the flipping out, the lashing out, getting upset, projections of insecurity on his part, worried about other people that I'm not even talking to, seeing, dating, or dealing with. But just because he's aware that these people are interested in me, it's like, I was like, you know what? This is the past again. I'm not, and I already said I'm not going to repeat a negative toxic cycle. When you go to therapy and you work with a life coach, and you start to see patterns of behavior in yourself, you learn to not allow those patterns of behavior anymore. So my toxic trait was people pleasing and altruism to the point where it's hurting me because I want to help you heal so much, it's hurting me. And that shouldn't be, especially in any relationship, whether it's platonic, romantic, familial, or, professional. Anything that drains you is not for you. And so it just got to the point where I was observing everything, but not saying anything because I didn't want for there to be drama. I just wanted peace and, hey, let's just spend time and all of that. There was not just a female from his past that he cheated on me with, but there's a new female who he claimed was married and was trying to help whatever. Looks kind of crazy, a married woman calling and texting you late at night and early in the morning like y'all got something going on. And it happened during my birthday weekend, like while we're together. But meanwhile, ain't nobody blowing up my phone because I don't fuck with people like that. I really beat it myself. And even people that try to holler at me, I don't give them any attention. I don't engage or entertain it. So I peeped all this. I chose to wait until Thursday of this week to even address it because I prayed about it. I was like, on one hand, he is being super supportive, not, like I said, not just financially, but emotionally and attentive and all the things that every woman wants. But if I cannot come to you with everything I'm feeling without you flipping out, that's not a genuine connection. And it just got to the point where his insecurity overtook him. And he's like, well, this other person, it seems like you really are into them, or you might really have feelings for them. I said, and even if I do, like, I'm not acting on it. One thing I don't do is I don't chase. I attract. So even if I like somebody or I'm interested in somebody, if they're not coming towards me, I'm not going towards them because I know my worth. I kept saying this over and over and over. And he was like, well, I know there's other people out there that want you. And how do I know that I'm doing all this for you? And, you're not going to be going and spending time. I said, we are not in a relationship. We are exploring because you're supposed to be proving to me I can trust you. We're not together. So why are you worried about other people that I'm not even entertaining? I'm completely focused on you, like I always do. If I'm into somebody, I'm focused on them. I was like, I'm focused on you and we're not even together. You're taking damn near all my time and, so it got to the point where I was like, I don't like feeling pressured. I was like, and it's like, you're mad because I didn't lie to you. I said, you probably would have been happy if I would have said, yes, I want to marry you and taken advantage of you. Because that's what you're used to. You're used to women who only want to be with you because you spend money. And I'm not superficial and I'm self-sufficient. So yeah, if I temporarily need help, trust and believe when I got a way to make money, I'm going to go make money. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to go make money. I'm going to do what I do. Just like today, I've been driving. I've been driving all weekend. So it just got to the point where I was like, I'm tired of feeling pressure to commit to you or feeling pressure to, tell you I want to marry you. No. I said, if it's meant to be, God will align it in divine timing, but we've only spent one weekend together. And I told him, I said, there were red flags and I'm single. I want to do things on my own. Thank you for your help. Genuinely. That's why I poured into him with the affection and the appreciation, massages, praying for healing, is to show you thanks. Thank you for what you've done. Thank you for being there for me. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to commit to you, because I'm going to commit to somebody who I know I can trust. I don't have to worry about them out cheating or lying or any of that. So come Monday, We're at dinner, still celebrating my birthday, and he tells me he wants me to pay him back. Well, since you're going to be single, I'll never forget this shit. Since you're single, and all of that, you could just pay me back my, excuse me, didn't you say you were helping me because you love me out of the goodness of your heart? I'm pointing this out for a reason. When people see you in a situation, narcissists in particular, they like what's called narcissistic supply. They like for you to pour into them and, really make them feel loved and all that. But narcissists love bomb you. And then when you establish a boundary, or you tell them no, or you hold them accountable, then they devalue and discard. I learned about all this in therapy and with my life coach. And so that's what I noticed. This was a lesson to show me how much I've healed, and to show him how much he hasn't. And to me, marriage is about being equally yoked. My Aunt Mary and my Uncle James were equally yoked. That's why their marriage lasted for 57 years, and it wasn't toxic. They didn't argue and fight. There was no manipulation. There was no cheating. There were no scandals. There was no abuse. They just genuinely loved each other and were there for each other. So, like I said, when I have a chance, the content I captured from the weekend, I will post, because it was a great weekend. My birthday was a great weekend. But the trying to get me to break my celibacy multiple times, not cool. Still lying and dealing with multiple women while trying to get me to commit to you, not cool. Flipping out because I told you and I was honest that I'm not ready to marry you and I need you to prove you can trust me, not cool. So I'm looking at it like, why am I giving this person access to my life if they don't even value the access that they have? Like, there's other people out here that wish they were in your position, that wish they could sleep in the bed next to me. So it's like, nah. I had to tell myself no. Not to mention, yes, the love was there. It still is, because I can still feel him. I can hear his thoughts. And he probably, if you're watching, hey, look, I care about you. I love you as the father of my child. I hope you heal. But the way you handled this situation this week was completely unacceptable. Completely. And I thank God that that happened, because I was on the path to allowing us to be back together. And then it hit me. The whole marriage talk was a way to get me to let my guard down and break my celibacy. Because one thing he said when we were, like cuddling and holding each other, and that to me is intimacy, laying in the bed together, cuddling, holding each other, being affectionate, was, well, you could just let me taste you, or you could just let me put the tip in. We're not doing any of that, because that creates a soul tie. No. Absolutely not. You haven't earned that. Even with what you paid for, for my birthday, you haven't earned that. And that was not easy, y'all, because like I said, I haven't been active in almost 2 years. And he knew what parts of me to touch and what to do. And I just was like, nah, man, I'm not doing this again. The last time I broke my celibacy, I really, really regretted it. And I told him that. I said, I don't want to feel that regret. He's like, you know what? I don't want you to regret it either. I said, so then let's just stop and let's just hold each other. Like, the sex part is just not going to happen. And then the next day it was, well, then you can pay me back. Some narcissistic shit for your ass. Now, wait a minute. You trying to convince me that you want to be my husband? But you want me to pay you back for the things you offered to help with? Not that I even asked you to do? My Aunt Mary never worked their entire marriage. I've worked since I was 12 years old. And if I have access to make money, I'm making money. I'm not waiting on a man to take care of me. So, and in our past, I did allow him to take care of me after I lost our baby, because I was going through postpartum, and I was going through a horrible, horrible depression because I had just lost my father 8 months before and didn't even know I was pregnant. So in my mind, like I told him, everything you did, I deserve it. Because of not only that loss, but all of the times over the 5.5 years we were together that I would forgive you, pour into you, be faithful, loyal to you, take you back thinking you were going to change, and then you didn't. And then I got hurt and my heart was broken. I let you go. I moved on. Then you popped back up months later. Baby, I'm sorry. Let me make it up to you. You're the one, like, just like this time. I know you're the woman that I'm supposed to marry. I believe that you believe that. I just don't think you are capable of being a husband. Because you still want to be out here on some hoe shit. So if you want, that's one thing, men, if y'all want to be hoes, stop trying to settle down with a woman. Just be a hoe. Like, for real. Just do you. Don't even, like, just stop. Don't even come with that, I want to be married, when you know you don't. You want to have somebody to come home to while you out doing you. So just go do you. So it just got to the point where after we had that conversation Monday, and he talked about paying him back, I was like, wow. I said, you know what? Just so I don't feel like I owe you shit, I will over time. I said, but I'm going to tell you right now, none of this is convincing me that you're husband material. None of it. Because you think spending money makes you a husband, and it doesn't. And you're using money as a control mechanism. Like, I'll do all, this is what I'll do for you. And he said, well, if we were together, you know, I wouldn't be asking you to pay me back, but you keep saying you're single and you want to be self-sufficient. This was the kicker. And if you want to be self-sufficient, why should I just give you money? First of all, why did you even offer to help? I said, now I see the motive wasn't because you so much love and care about me. The help was so you could secure access and have a certain amount of control. And the minute I said that, he got angry. And I was like, but that's the truth. Because real love and support doesn't come with conditions. It's unconditional love. And so, you know, I waited until Thursday. I had a horrible dream about our conversation. And then I realized afterwards it wasn't a dream, it was a premonition, because exactly what they showed me happened. I was calmly trying to, because again, he brought up marriage. It's like almost daily you're bringing up marriage. Bringing up marriage is not going to get me to break my celibacy. So, and I was telling him that. I said, you know, it really bothered me on Monday when you told me that you wanted me to pay you back, but yet you also told me during my birthday weekend while we were at the hotel that you've been sending money to this married woman because her husband had a grease fire accident and is injured and he can't work. And this woman be texting you, she be calling you, she's married. That don't even look right. It looks like you her side dude. And then the ex you're still connected to. The woman you cheated on me with. And you keep wondering why I'm telling you I don't trust you, and no, I don't see us being married until I know I can trust you. And so it just got to the point where I'm trying to tell him how I really feel. He wants to argue. He wants to yell. He wants to scream. He wants to defend and gaslight. And I'm like, no, none of that's going to work with me now because I'm healed. See, that worked back in the day when I wasn't healed. And we would argue and go back and forth, and then eventually you would get your way, and, you know, you were taking care of me, so I didn't have a choice, and nah. I said, so this is where I'm at. I'm single. I'm going to behave like I'm single. I'm not going to keep prioritizing us communicating. I said, I've seen enough to know that I don't trust you. So if you really want me to believe that you're ready to be committed to me, you're gonna have to physically show me. And so he was supposed to have been coming back next month for us to spend more time. But when I addressed these things, I said, I feel like you run from woman to woman. A lot of narcissists do this, and men with abandonment issues, men and women, because I got some female friends that I've seen do this shit. They run from person to person instead of taking time to sit with yourself and figure you out. Figure out why you have these patterns of behaviors in relationships. I had to do that. It's called shadow work. I had to look at where I was fucked up in relationships, whether male or female. And I had to do the work, and I'm still doing the work. So if one person is healed and they're doing the work and the other one isn't, it's not equally yoked, it's not balanced, and it'll never work out, because you can't pour into an unhealed person and expect that unhealed person to know how to love you the right way. And that's what I told him. I said, I know you love me. I can feel it. I know it's real. I know you're in love with me. I'm not in love with you. And at least, thank God, I'm being honest and not lying to you and using you like most women have and most women would. I was like, if you want me to trust you, you're going to have to put in more work. But no, I'm single, and I'm going to act like I'm single. Apparently that must have triggered him, because then he, started popping off and, well, fine then, like you said, you're not in love with me. You love me, but you're not in love with me. And so, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not in love with you. And yeah, you're right. We're not going to be together. So I'm going to block you and you can block me and we can go our separate ways, and then hung up on me. Amazing how quick those feelings just flipped, because I set boundaries, called you on your shit, and held you accountable for the lies, the inconsistencies, the deception, the things that you're not telling me. Not only am I a Scorpio, I'm an empath, clairvoyant, psychic medium. You can't hide shit from me. I can hear your thoughts, and I can see into your past, your present, and your future. You ain't about to hide shit from me. That's also why I'm very selective on who I date and who I entertain for any sort of a relationship, whether male or female, because if you're not healed, I'm just not going to waste my time. So when that happened, not gonna lie, it hurt, because I was like, wow, he's still doing this lashing out petty shit, and is 10 years older than me. Well, almost 9 years older than me. So I realized, okay, this retrograde, when other people were like, maybe y'all are meant to be together again. Of course, he kept trying to convince me of that. No, we weren't. This was meant to happen to show me how healed I am, and to show me that he was not. It doesn't take away from the things that he did. It doesn't take away from the things he paid for. It doesn't take away from the emotional support that was there. But when the motive is deceptive, when the motive is, what can I get from you? It changes the way I look at you. So many people have done that to me, especially while I've been going through this transition of rebuilding my life. First, it was a female who claimed she was platonic, but definitely acted like she wanted me to be her wife, and she wasn't my type at all. Then it was other friends, and I say friends because I don't consider these people friends anymore, who were like, oh, I want to help you, but can you do some business stuff for me for free? Oh, I want to help you, but can you, make this for me? Can you make me a logo? Can you develop me a website? He even asked me about that. Developing a website for his new business ventures that he's pursuing, but wanted me to do it for free before he ever offered any help. And then when I told him how much it was going to be, oh, that's too much. Okay, well, that's my price. So it's like people come into your life to show you what you need to see. And what I saw was that I'm a woman of integrity. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to cheat on you. I'm not going to play games with you. I'm all or nothing. Either I'm all the way in and I want to be with you, or I all the way don't. I don't have a gray area. Literally all or nothing. So I felt like I was giving my all to somebody who we're not in a relationship. While the affection feels good and the conversations were great and the physical time spent was great, and it was a beautiful hotel, and then he helped me pay for things that I need to take care of. Then he took me to Burlington, got me some clothes and things that I needed. That was all great. That was appreciated. I showed that appreciation. The fact that I even allowed you back in my life for you was a blessing, because most women wouldn't have after the shit we went through. And I realized the universe was testing me. The universe sometimes will bring people from your past back to see how healed you are, to see if you've done the work, and also to see what you're going to choose. I chose me. I didn't choose another man. I didn't choose another woman. I chose D, because I know what I'm worth. And there's more to me than my body, men, because a lot of y'all been trying me lately. That's why I'm saying, and not just my ex, my other ex, the father of my Mother's Day baby I lost. Like, y'all really been trying me this year. And I keep telling you, I don't want temporary affection. I am a wife. I am a mother already. So I don't mind waiting for my divine masculine, for God to align us in divine timing. And just because I'm single and going through stuff and it felt good to have that reconnection doesn't mean I'm going to tolerate toxic behavior. I just don't see any reason to do it. The feeling of feeling wanted, him constantly telling me how much he missed my touch. All I did was, just because he's bald, rubbed the back of his head, did Reiki, sent healing to him. He was like, "What are you doing to me?" I said, "I'm sending healing to you. I'm doing Reiki on you." He's like, "Oh my God, it feels so good. I've never felt this before." I said, "And you never will unless you deal with somebody who's healed. I'm a spiritualist." And it was like, for a brief moment, I was reopening my heart up to this man. That's why it hurt, because I'm like, I finally decided to reopen my heart, and then as soon as I do, you come with this bullshit. You come with this, you want me to pay you back because I told you I don't want to marry you. Like, it's now I can laugh, because it's like, wow, that shit was really fucked up. And I said, you don't see anything wrong with that. You don't see anything wrong with offering help on, the basis of telling me that it's because you love and care about me. But the reality was, the motive was, let me get them draws. And when you don't get it, then you flip the script, you're a whole different person. Ain't nobody got time for that at all. Ain't nobody got time for that. So I was like, you know what? I said, let me ask you something. If I had told you yes, that I wanted to marry you, would we be having this discussion about you telling me I have to pay you back? He's like, no. I said, okay. So I've identified the motive for the financial support. Now that I see it is what it is, why do you want to marry me? I asked him that. I said, why do you want to marry me? He said to me, well, I tried to be with her. She wasn't you. She didn't take care of home. She didn't take care of me. She felt entitled, felt like I should just do for her. Meanwhile, I'm showing you all this love and appreciation and affection. And I was like, it dawned on me, I deserve better than this. You want marriage. You came back into my life, not the other way around. And then you want to come back into my life just to add stress? No. I said, what I think you need to do is either get back with the chick that you previously cheated on me with, because you clearly are not over her. And you got this married woman that that shit don't look right at all. I said, I'm going to choose me, and I'm going to be single. Thank you for my birthday celebration. Thank you for everything you did. I pray that God blesses you for the blessing you've been to me. And I really hope you find your healing. When it escalated to the point where we were arguing again is when I stopped it. I hung up. Having heart palpitations. This is too much drama. I don't want to relive drama. The two fathers of my babies, who both of them, the one that's from here and then him, he's from Atlanta. To both of y'all, I will always have love for you. You're both the fathers of my children that I lost. But we will never be together. Ever. Okay? There's no resentment in my heart. There's no bitterness. But there are boundaries, and there is self-love, and there is self-worth where there wasn't. Plus, I keep having premonitions of me with my future divine masculine and our children. And I know there's two people in particular that I confide in that was like, well, how long are you going to wait for him to come towards you? I said, it's not about me waiting for him to come towards me. It's about me allowing God to align us in divine timing. Anytime I'm shown a premonition, it's because that's about to manifest, but everything is not for me to know. So I'm okay. I really am. I'm okay. One thing about being single is there's peace, man. There's so much peace in that. There's so much peace in just choosing you. You know, choose you. Do not choose to allow unhealed people to be back in your life. And if you do try to give somebody a chance and they show you that they're not healed, let them go in love. Letting somebody go in love, because I know somebody asked me, what does that mean? It means that you don't hate the person. I don't hate you. I don't have resentment or bitterness. I just recognize that you are not healed enough to be in my life. Even the way that he reacted Thursday, you know, well, you can block me, I'll block you, and we'll just go our separate, and then just hung up. We're not 5 years old, and you are, you know, getting close to your mid-50s. Like, you know, there should be a level of maturity and level-headedness when you have a conversation. It shouldn't be like, you know, it's great because I'm pouring into you and I'm giving you all this affection and attention and, you know, love and loyalty that you haven't even earned. No, I chose me. So I shared this because like I said, I felt 5 people on the last live going through this, you know, entertaining exes coming back. Your ex is your ex for a reason. Now, some people do change. I know there's some people who they spin the block and both people have healed. And that's what I thought possibly could have been, is like, you know, we both healed. But nah, people also will pretend to heal. They'll pretend to be healed till they can't pretend no more. And then the real them comes out. And it's like, when I think of marriage and I look at my aunt and uncle, that's a daily thing. That means I got to be around your ass every day. I'm not marrying somebody I don't like. I'm not marrying somebody I don't like the way you act or behave. I'm not marrying somebody who I don't trust, because that means I have to deal with you daily. So in order for me to entertain dating a person and definitely marriage, I got to know that we are equally yoked in the same way, the same loyalty and love that I give, you're going to give that back. The same devotion, because Scorpios, we're very devoted. If we love you, we're going to devote our whole self to you. I want to know you're going to do the same. Because anybody got time to be playing, especially at my age, anybody got time to be playing games? Like, I'm ready to be with my husband and have my babies. You know, not... That's why I don't be going out, and I don't do that. I'm too old for that. You know, I did all that in my 20s. So I had to go through this experience. It was like God brought him back for good karma for me, because like I said, the things he did, that definitely was a blessing. It was an unexpected blessing. I didn't expect any of that as far as the financial support and even the emotional support. I'm grateful for all of it, every part of it, always will be. But that doesn't mean that I'm obligated to be in a relationship or act like I want to be married. Because marriage is a daily, you're walking through life together every day. And the person that I keep seeing me having this future with, his energy's different. No, I don't know him obviously the way I know my ex. Like I said, we've been knowing each other almost 9 years. But this other person's frequency is much higher. And they're always putting God first in everything that they do. So I'm just like being patient. Just being patient. But I'm not allowing the past to come back. That's truly what retrogrades are for. Are you healed? So I was like, okay, this was a universal test. Before God brings you the person meant for you, a lot of times you get tested with people from your past coming back because they can feel it. I don't know if it's got to be a metaphysical thing, because even people who don't share the gifts that I have, it's like I swear they can feel this other person coming towards me, because in every situation, men from my past have been just, even men and women from my past been popping up out of nowhere. I was like, okay, God must finna be getting ready to send him towards me, because what the hell? And when this happened, I'm not gonna lie, at first I was happy because I was like, well shit, maybe this is God giving us a second chance. Maybe it'll be better this time. And oftentimes we allow people from our past to come back thinking it's gonna be better. This person's different, I'm different. Nah, man. If the same issues are there, then that means the healing never was. So I'm truly grateful that I can honestly say I'm proud of myself in this circumstance, because, even like I spoke with my second mom and my cousin about the situation. They both said most women, would have taken advantage of him. Most women would have lied without a doubt, and then continue to deal with other people on the side. And I'm not most women. To be honest, the way I was raised, like raised in church, the whole church girl thing, raised to be domestic, raised to be a wife, raised to take care of house and home and also work and have a career. Like, it's very rare to find a woman, quite honestly, like me, who's gonna hold you down. And he kept telling me that when he was, reminding me and being nostalgic. He said, man, I remember when we were together, you held me down. He was like, when I lost my job and everything went to shit, when he brought me from, Houston, and we left and went to, we were at his family owns a house, basically, that his grandmother and grandfather owned when they were alive. So anybody can pretty much stay there. And even when we were there, like, he went through a lot. When he first was trying to get his CDL and all that, and he had to work for relatives that were looking down on him the way people have been looking down on me. And he reminded me of that. He said, man, you stuck it out with me through thick and thin. I'm a Scorpio. That's what we do. We're not going to just leave you because shit gets hard. Like, I'm going to leave you because you're not faithful or loyal, not because things are hard. No, when things are hard, we pray, we come together, we get stronger, let's see what we can do. And so when he reminded me of that, I was like, man, I forgot about all of that, and I was like, yeah, I really loved you. I didn't want to see you going through that. I didn't want you hurting. So it was like whatever I could do, I did, and even though my body was still going through a lot from losing the baby. And it's like, I'm not perfect, but I know my loyalty is unmatched. And if I love you, I'm going to love you for life until you fuck it up. So it just got to the point where when we had the conversation Thursday, it was clear as day. No, this was not a second chance. This was a goodbye. This was good karma for me for the love and loyalty that I gave when we were together before and even now. And this was a lesson for him, that you can't come back into my life and spend money for a month and think that I'm going to marry you without doing the work to prove, to show and prove that I can trust you. Trust is everything. I don't want a man for his money. I want your heart. I want your loyalty. I want your commitment. I want your love and affection. I can make money on my own. And I'll do whatever I got to do. Like, I'm going to go back out tonight. I'm just honestly letting my phone charge enough. So it's not about the money. It's never about the money. It's, are you healed enough to be my husband that I can feel safe with? And that was the thing. He was making me feel safe until he didn't. And that abandonment and all the lack mentality, the scarcity mentality, helping but complaining. That was the other thing. I said, my uncle completely took care of my aunt. Now, I'm different. My auntie, super old school. My aunt was 79 when she passed away. So was my uncle. So they come from a different time where women didn't work. Women took care of home. But my mother did both. She worked and took care of home. And my mom's a Capricorn, just like my ex is. So I get that. You know, that was one of the things I loved about him, was his business mind. Always, you know, hey, let's see what we can do to get some things popping. But when it comes to narcissism and manipulation, I've healed too much to allow that back in my life. So that, I feel, was the whole lesson in this entire situation, is I've healed too much to allow this energy to be in my life. But I don't hate you, and I genuinely hope you heal. And I still pray for his healing daily. But no, it wasn't no spin the block, let's get back together. It was a lesson. And I'm proud of the way that I handled things. I'm proud of myself. And if you are watching, please heal. Please go to therapy. Not even for me. Do it for you. Because there's no chance of us ever getting back together. Like, ever. But please heal for you. Because I felt your heart chakra. That's why I was doing Reiki on it. It's broken because of a lot of stuff from your childhood you haven't dealt with. You need to deal with it. Because until you do, every relationship you have is not going to work out. It's just not. And the reason you wanted to come back to me so much is because of the healing you receive and the love and the loyalty. But you haven't earned that, and you don't deserve it. Friendship, yes. He said he didn't want to have a friendship because he's in love with me. I can't be friends with you. Okay, I respect that. Do what you got to do. But lashing out, yelling and screaming, hanging up and blocking when all I did was be honest and say, no, I'm not ready to marry you. And I'm pointing out to you things. How do you have a married woman calling and texting you at night and first thing in the morning? She has a husband. I straight up asked, are you her side nigga? Like, for real, do y'all got some shit going on? Because why are you sending this married woman money? And complaining about the stuff you offered to do for me out of love. No, you thought it was going to get you some ass, and it didn't. You can't buy my affection. You for damn sure can't buy my body. If that was the case, I would be out in these streets selling it. Like a lot of these women out here, there's a lot of females out here that's some hoes for real. Like they don't care. They just, as long as they making money. I would rather do Lyft and Uber. I'd rather do my spiritual psychic readings and consultations. I'd rather do my own business ventures than to trade my integrity and, use my body in that way. No. Because again, I've healed. Now, when I wasn't healed, yeah, I probably would have considered that. But I've never actually done that, and I never could do that. So it's like, I had to really pray about all of this. I said, Lord, why did you even bring him back into my life for this to happen? And the first thing I got was, well, because you deserved the energy that was brought towards you. You deserved that, affection, that emotional support, as well as the financial. But what I don't deserve is lies, deception, manipulation, gaslighting, narcissism, all the unhealed. I don't deserve that. And being upset because I'm honest, not because I lied, but because I was honest, is the unhealed parts of you. You're used to superficial women that only want to deal with you for your money. That's why you thought it was going to work with me and it didn't. And that means your self-worth is so low that you feel you have to spend money on women to get them to be with you. And that's really sad. So I want you to heal your abandonment wounds. That's the reason you did what you did on Thursday. People with abandonment that's unhealed, they will abandon you before you can abandon them. So they sabotage relationships. They either smother you like he initially was doing, they're clingy, or they become aggressive, manipulative, angry because you rejected them, because deep down inside their very fragile ego has been bruised because they do not have self-worth. So this is not about being, like I said, I'm not angry, resentful, or any of that. I thank God for this lesson. I thank God that chapter of my life is completely closed. The only thing I would entertain in the future is an association, after there's been time for healing. But as of right now, the way that this went down, I'm grateful for it. But the way that his reaction is like, man, fuck that. I don't need this energy in my life. I don't deserve it. Especially knowing what physically I'm going through. And you witnessed it physically the whole weekend of my birthday when I got sick. To know that and do what you did is like, nah, you're like, what was so crazy? He said, how come you don't trust me? I said, because you abandoned me multiple times. In the past, when I would address about the female that you kept lying about, that you kept saying you weren't dealing with, you weren't seeing her, you weren't. And then people that I didn't even know would be sending me DMs with photos and videos. Oh, ain't this your nigga? Booed up with her. That was embarrassing as hell. And I moved from Houston in 2018 to be with you, and you did the same shit. Did the same shit when we were at your grandma's place. Did the same shit when, we got the condo in Florida. And it's like, and now you coming back with the same shit? You haven't healed? Talking about you want me to see a healed version of you. I said, where is it? This is the same pattern of behavior. You dealing with other women on the side and wanting me to commit to you. No. I thank God for no. I thank God for boundaries. I thank God I didn't break my celibacy. I thank God I chose to love myself more. In the past, I didn't. So for those that are contemplating entertaining someone from your past, you better make sure that person's healed before you do that. Because otherwise, they ain't going to do nothing but bring a headache back to you. Miss Williams, good to see you. I'm just now looking over seeing y'all's comments in the chat. Jalen, good to see you, family. Good to see you. Thank you, Cody, for keeping the chat going. Thank you, my love. It was actually on Sunday, so it was a week ago today. But thank you. Thank you, thank you. RG, good to see you. Thank you so. Wait, is that RG? Oh no, that's Gemini Ant. I don't know why YouTube's been doing this lately with the names. It's putting everybody's at instead of their screen name. Good to see you, Gemini Ant. April, thank you, my love. Neptune, good to see you. Yes. Yeah, I'm definitely talking about my ex in this situation. Because of the retrograde and because I know it'll help other people. They always come in love bombing and always use a line, I am invested in you, your well-being, patterns of the narcissistic behaviors. Exactly. Somebody else said that, who y'all haven't seen in the chat in months. D, I'm invested in your well-being. Been MIA since May, literally. But the married lady didn't have to pay. That's what I'm saying. That's what bothered me. And I waited until Thursday so I could pray about it, because I'm like, now look, I'm not trying to start no shit, but how are you sending money to a married woman that ain't got to pay you back, but you trying to convince me to marry you and telling me I got to pay you back because I told you I'm single, which I am. Here was the other kicker. You know, he said to me, even if you end up with somebody else, I love you. I'm going to be here for you no matter what. And we'll always be friends. And, you know, God told me to help you. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to make sure I'm there for you because I know how your relatives are. And I know you're going through a lot with your health and all this stuff. Okay. You said God told you to help me. Then turn around and said God told him to help the married woman. God told me to do that. I said, let me be real with you. And energy does not lie. People do. I feel like you, her side, do. Because why does her husband allow you to even reach out? I don't know too many husbands that let their wives text and call another man for money. That's sounding like a side situation. I can't believe you would even think. I mean, the overly defensive reaction. I can't believe you would even think that. God told me to help her and blah, blah. Meanwhile, my spiritual gifts are feeling everything. You sent me links to go listen to her sing on YouTube. And this was before he even told me about financially helping a woman. And I was like, who is this chick? Like, who is this? I've never heard of her. Well, you know, she wants me to manage her because he managed Nivea and he was a co-manager for Jagged Edge back in the day. And then he's in the industry. He used to have a music group in like the late 90s. And so I was like, all right, cool. You know, this was before the whole getting back romantically involved shit. I listened to her sing. I was like, she's cool, but you know, I've honestly heard better out here in Houston. I'm just being honest. No hate at all. Another song, I was like, that one's cool, but the first two intros is too long. Then down the road, you tell me that her husband had a grease fire accident and he can't work and they lost everything and you know, and you know, I just wanted to help and you know, God. Now I know I'm not as stupid as you look saying this shit to me. And I know you don't think I'm finna fall for this shit and then say, yeah, I'll marry you. Hell no. No. I said, so before you bring up marriage again, we got to talk about this because this shit don't look right. Why in the world are you giving money to a married woman? I said, and you just told me Monday night you want me to pay you back. Because I told you I'm single. Because I am. But yet you're also trying to convince me to marry you. I said, make it make sense, sir. That don't make sense. Well, you know, she got to pay me back too. Because, you know, nah, you never said that. Then every time your phone go off, and I'm not tripping, but I'm peeping it. Every time your phone go off, you telling me it's this chick texting you. Calling your phone, you not answering. That's the same shit you did before when you was dealing with the chick you cheated on me with. She would blow up your phone. You wouldn't answer, but you would text her. I said, this is getting too familiar. And I even said it calmly because I was in the bathroom having an episode when we were having this conversation. I said, it's just reminding me of the past. It's triggering and it doesn't feel right. I said, so I cannot in good conscience keep talking about us having a future together if I'm already seeing way too many red flags. I was like, so if you want me to trust you, you're going to have to really actively put in work to show me that I can. I said, because as of right now, I absolutely don't. I was like, so I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back and remember that I'm single. I'm going to behave like I'm single. I'm not pouring into you. I'm not prioritizing this connection. I'm going to go back to focusing on me. And apparently that triggered him, and he went off, and I was just like, man, thank you, Lord. Thank you for showing me what I needed to see. That this was not meant to be. And what's so crazy, I just shuffled my cards. This card fell out today. I let you go. Actually, I let you go years ago. You came back. I wasn't looking for you. I wasn't checking for you. And man, I feel like I dodged a bullet, y'all. For real. I really do. Because, some people pretend well and some people don't. You can't pretend to be healed. You can't. It's not possible because the real unhealed you is coming out, especially when you get triggered. And a narcissist trigger is holding them accountable and then establishing and holding firm to your boundaries. I held firm to, and I'm not gonna lie, like I said, he knows my body, I know his. He knew where and how to touch me, and it turned me on. I said, but no, we gotta stop. You're not worthy of this. You're not even worthy of that part of me. I love that I know my worth now. And no, I'm not perfect, but I know one thing I do know is how to make another person feel loved and good. And I know I did that. I know I did that. So when I have a little more time, like I said, I'm actually getting ready to get out here so I can go drive. When I have more time, I'll edit the video clips and pictures and stuff. Like I said, it's a beautiful weekend, but man, I thank God so much that I did not allow that to continue to go further. Because I would have ended up miserably married, like siblings I know, and divorced. Because one thing I'm not going to do is cheat on you. One thing I'm not going to do is lie. I'm going to leave. Like that fight or flight, I'm on the flight part. Like I'm out. I'm not, before I fight with you, I'm going to just be out. And that's one thing about me. I don't like arguing. I don't like toxicity. I don't like drama. I don't like going back and forth. Either we are aligned or we're not. Even in platonic relationships. But there is no way a man is trying to convince me to marry him and then telling me that the help he offered out of the goodness of his heart, now I got to pay you back because I told you I'm not ready to marry you. That's manipulative as hell. Jalen, I've currently started my healing journey from my good. I'm so proud of you, family. Yes. Yes. Older brother to myself. Is this the healing? So, Jalen, let's talk about that during your next session, for sure. We will definitely discuss that. If you want, you can book a session with me for tomorrow, and I can get you scheduled, my love. But I'm really proud of you. Thank you, UK in the building. Shout out, by the way, shout out to everybody that is watching for the first time. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to Dee's World. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thank you. I appreciate the birthday wishes. Really do. Thank you so much. And y'all know, look, Cody is currently getting his degree to become a psychiatrist. So I love this. I love to see you guys encouraging one another in the chat. Miss Williams, my situation is similar but not the same. I chose me versus to allow my biological dad back in my life because he hasn't grown and matured. He came to me saying he apologized for everything I think he did, which is not an apology. It's a narc. That is a narc defense. Yeah. Yep. And I'm proud of you, Miss Williams. Exactly. Wishing people well when they're not healed shows you how healed you are, and it sets you free, and it allows you to not allow them to have control over you. Like, even in this situation, I'm not gonna lie, I was heartbroken when he said and did what he did on Thursday, but I recognize, hey, he's just not healed, you know? And so thank God I didn't have to, currently deal with that. I chose to not deal with it. So wishing them well sets you free. And I'll be praying for you, Miss Williams, for your relationship. Not necessarily to heal, because if the situation with your biological father is toxic, then let it be, but for your healing. Cody, you should always be able to go to someone who says they love you and tell them and share your feelings and pointing out concerns for red flag. Exactly. And that was how I knew that was the moment of clarity that I thank God for. Was if I can only come to you when I'm pouring into you and loving you and giving you affection and constantly telling you thank you, then I should be able to come to you and be like, hey, what you said and did hurt my feelings, which is exactly how I approached it. And hey, this looks crazy to me that you're telling me I got to pay you back, but this married woman doesn't. And it looks crazy to me that you lied about being in communication with the woman you previously cheated on me with. So it's looking like the same pattern. You're right. I should have been able to go, because if it's a true partnership, you can have healthy, honest communication. What's so crazy is I remember telling him that first time he flipped out and I helped him to calm down. I said, I always want us to have open, honest communication. That's the only way to reestablish trust. But if I come to you and say, hey, what you did hurt my feelings, or this doesn't look right, can you explain this? And instead of you maturely explaining it, you gaslight, you're overly defensive, you're aggressive. Well, then, communication's everything. If we can't have healthy communication, then honestly, there's nothing there. I said currently Madi. That's what's up. Good luck on your microbiology labs, family. He said, no one in my past really came back into my life. Yes, it's absolutely. Look, that's what I was saying in the last live. If God keeps people from your life or kicks people out of your life, please trust that is God's protection. Whatever doesn't align is definitely God's protection. Absolutely. Miss Williams, you're welcome, my love. Because I can imagine how difficult that is, especially when it's your biological father. That automatically creates abandonment wounds. So every girl wants to have that relationship with her father, but if it's toxic, let it go. For real, let it go. So I'm definitely praying for you, my love. But I just, like I said, I wanted to share that with y'all. I typically normally do not share this much detail about my private life, but I felt 5 people that needed to hear this. And to my ex, because I know he, subscribed to my channel. If you're watching now, I don't hate you. I never did. You know that. I never hated you. Even after the shit we went through, I always loved you because you're the father of my child. And you're the only father that actually looked out for me after I lost our baby. But you need to heal for you. Don't do it for me, because there's no coming back ever again romantically. But do it for you. I want to really encourage you to seek a life coach. Seek a life coach. Get with a therapist to deal with your childhood trauma, because that's why you are doing the things you're doing. That's why you run from woman to woman. You can't be by yourself. You can't be alone. You come across real clingy sometimes, and then you project a lot of insecurities. It's a lot of low self-worth. You need to deal with that, genuinely. And I really hope you do. I do. I hope you heal so much, because to be your age going through that is honestly really sad. It is. And I know other people your age and older who are not healed either. So I hope that you find your healing. I will continue to pray for your healing. I thank you for everything you did. Thank you for being there for me when you were, even if it was, with ulterior motives. I still appreciate what you did. And I hope in the future that you're able to find peace. Genuinely, I do. So I hope you guys that are listening, or even those that catch the replay, like I said, this retrograde, a lot of people from, at least I know my past, a lot of people have been resurfacing. And just because people come back in your life doesn't mean that you should give them access to you, or allow them into your life. And if you feel like, hey, maybe this person's changed, you could try it. But if you see that person hasn't changed, do not feel guilty to let them go. Release them in love so you can have your peace. All right, so I gotta go because, like I said, I gotta get back out in these abundant streets, because I know Sunday nights around this time is when it actually starts to pick up. My phone should hopefully be charged enough by now. But I appreciate everybody that tuned into this live. And again, for the new people, welcome to Dee's World. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys make sure to get on Rumble. Matter of fact, I keep forgetting, since I'm on my laptop, I can actually share screen. And give me 1 second. I'm going to bring my Rumble account up. That way you guys can see it. Because like I said, we're going to do the Pizzagate watch party this week. I'm going to start parts 2 through 5. And a lot of investigative research. Shout out to Jonathan Hay, by the way, because he sent me a link to an article, and it is him making the news, which is awesome. So I'll be covering that story as well. His the new case, the new lawsuit that he has against Diddy. Okay, so for those who are not, get on Rumble, and I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. Okay, so there's the link. Y'all make sure to go on rumble.com and make sure to follow and subscribe. Make sure to follow and subscribe. That way, I just realized I need to change that background picture because that's a really old one. That way you get notified when we get ready to do the watch party and anytime I upload. And the reason I want you guys on Rumble is a completely uncensored platform. It's nothing like YouTube, where we can discuss real things and they're not gonna mess with the content. Cody said, thank you. I received that. Yes, abundance tonight. So make sure you guys get on Rumble. That way this week you can join me and you can join in the chat for the watch party, because what I'm going to do is start on the multi-stream like I normally do, but then I'm going to end the stream to YouTube because, certain things you can't show on YouTube without them doing the most. So that's why it's important for you to be on Rumble. So family, I appreciate all of you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for everybody that participated in the chat. Thank you for your comments and your concern, and thank you for your birthday wishes. I really appreciate it. And like I said, despite this situation unfortunately ending in a disappointing way, I really did have a great weekend. I did. So, a lot of lessons were learned, a lot of things seen and discovered. And the thing that I discovered is that I finally found me. Isn't it Zero that sings that? Finally, I found me. Yeah, I finally found me, and it's a good feeling to love yourself. So self-love is truly the best love. In fact, it's the prerequisite to loving somebody else. If you don't love yourself, if you're not healed, there's no way you can have a healthy relationship with anybody else. It's just not possible. So, love you guys so much. Jalen, again, proud of you for doing the work. I just want us to discuss that privately, since that's, what we talk about during your sessions. But definitely proud of you. Keep doing the work. Like I said, if you want to book a session tomorrow, let me know. I do have some availability. And what I can do is, adjust my schedule as far as driving. That's the beauty of driving is, you have the flexibility if you want to book a session so that we can keep working on that. But I'm super duper proud of you. Please keep doing the work, because doing the work is what helps you to be your most empowered self and for you to have the healthiest connections in your relationships. So thank you to everybody for the birthday wishes. Thank you to everybody that called or text or DM'd during my birthday weekend. I do appreciate all of you so much. And I thank God for all of this. I thank God for the strength. I thank God for being able to go drive. Like I said, going through those two places, those two hotels I had to stay at, and seeing the difference now is like, wow. Because again, I remember when it was horrible, and I had to sit and wait for the money to come and be deposited, and had to sit outside, and man, it's like, and then looking at things now, I feel really blessed. So I don't worry about life. I align and I attract. So please learn that from me. Do not worry about life. Let everything flow to you. Everything I need flows to me with ease. I genuinely believe that. I know that great new beginnings are coming. Great new beginnings in healing. Great new beginnings in career. Great new beginnings in new connections, new support, new family. And I appreciate all of you. That's why we call each other family here on my channel. We don't do all the other platforms where people go back. We don't do that here. We love and support one another on Just D Show. And my channel is about healing and spirituality and unlocking and discovering the truth and exposing deception, as well as comedy, music. It's everything, all the parts of me that I want to share with you. So I thank you guys for your support. Shout out to all the D's peeps on all the platforms, not just YouTube. Shout out to the D's peeps on Rumble. Shout out to the D's peeps on Twitch. Shout out to the D's peeps that are following me on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. So I will be back soon. Y'all have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful evening, since it's technically nighttime. Love y'all, D's peeps.